Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game that we're making. Hopefully the song that is currently playing is not the same song that was playing last time, because I haven't had an opportunity to check. Just got home from the doctor, haven't really had a time to properly set up, so if this is the same song as last time, it won't be on it for long. In fact, maybe just in case, I'll go ahead and change the song regardless, skip ahead a song. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I try to change the song every episode just so that we don't get tired of it, or at the very least aren't as likely to get tired of it. After all, I'm going to be playing plenty of RPG Maker 1 games after I'm done making an RPG Maker 1 game. Speaking of which, last time I started making the final boss, and that is pretty dang exciting. Unfortunately, I still haven't received any comment at YouTube suggesting a name for this guy, so, anybody watching in chat have a name for this guy? Would be kind of nice to have. I mean, unless we're just going to call him Magnum, but I don't think that's a very good name. Well, while I'm waiting for a possible name, let's go ahead and get some stats and stuff going. More importantly, some magic spells for this guy. So let's see here. Oh yeah, I thought about this radiation spell last time, and then I changed my mind because I did not plan a radiation spell today, because I forgot I was planning on it. Huh. Well, I'll figure this out as we go along. I came up with some other spells in between streams just to save a little bit of time, so I, for the most part, know what I want to do, but having that radiation possibility certainly throw things off a little bit. But we'll figure it out. Alright, so let's start by having a spell that is going to hit one person on the team. We're going to be calling this spell Meltdown. And let's see here. Not going to have a special message attributed to it. I decided to save some time and actually figure out what spell calls we're going to have ahead of time, because last time I kind of wasted a little bit of time with that. Alright, so for the graphics of this spell, we're going to go with starting off graphic 4, and then it's going to finish off with graphic 1. And I'm gonna have this fade in. And as for sound effects, start with this. And going to finish off with this. And that's the first spell created. I'll figure out like damage and stuff as we go along. I just want to get these in place first. So that's his first spell that he's going to have. Next one is going to be next one's going to be Shockwave. I had this list listed in a different order than I expected. So Shockwave. Gonna inflict damage against all characters. Oh, that reminds me, going back to Meltdown, that is a fire elemental spell. But Shockwave is not. I figured it would be a good idea to give this final boss an attack that isn't elemental. So this is going to hit all enemies. It's going to be igniting a Shockwave, because initially we're going to have these fireballs up at the top of the screen that's going to be kind of imploding. Like so. Hold on a sec, something about that doesn't look right. It looks different than whenever I was practicing creating this spell. Kinda weird that. Oh well, not gonna dwell on it. It's gonna be kind of exploding up there at the top of the screen. And that explosion is going to create a shockwave. Maybe I had it like an effect. No, I feel like it was just one. Whatever. So the second phase of this spell... 18. Which is going to be rotating, side spinning. Start at the top of the screen and go down. Starting medium and getting large. Or maybe, no, starting small and getting medium, and I'm going to have a line of them. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. Maybe I will have it like that. Yeah, we'll do that. And for sound effects, sound 19. And there we go. That's shockwave created. Next up, going to be a spell that increases his attack. I want to give the player reason to possibly use the Dispel spell, because this would potentially get dangerous. Because it's going to raise his attack by 10 points every time he uses it. And this spell is going to be called Strength. And hopefully, by the way, there's no echo going on with the stream here. I have my speakers turned down low. Normally I would be wearing headphones, but I've got an ear infection and I figure headphones might not help with that. I've heard that germs something or another whenever you're wearing headphones, like that they thrive more easily or something, which I don't want. So no headphones right now. Turn the volume down as low as I could so that hopefully there's no echo. Anyway, going to raise strength. And the graphic for this is going to be 7. And in all 3 phases, going to go from below to above. And as it goes on, it's going to kind of multiply. Like so. And the sound effect I decided on this was 12. And that's that one taken care of. Next up. So this is where I might go ahead and change my plans a little. My next plan spell was going to be a drain spell, which drained your magic from the entire team. But, I kind of like the radiation idea. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do a radiation spell. Now I have no idea. Oh yeah, radiation. Clever me. I have no idea what graphics this is going to be. Because I kind of forgot about this, like I said. Maybe this one. Kind of have a... Okay, X small to medium, medium to X small. Also actually put in the graphic, that would be helpful. Yeah, I think this is going to work. And for the sound effect, I think I know what I want to do here. I kind of like that one. Yeah, that'll do. Simple. So we got that spell. I'm going to have it affect all teammates. It's kind of a dangerous one. And next up, going back to my plans that I've written down, we're going to call this next spell Cremate. It's going to be his ultimate spell. Assuming you don't have the Dragon Scales, which reduce the power of fire attacks. In which case, it's still going to be painful, but not as painful. So, Fire Element hits all of us. No special message attached to it. We're going to be using the Fire. And in all three cases, going to be Effect 3. Gonna get large. They're also gonna be kind of shaky. Swing, like so. For funsies, I'm gonna actually use this reverse option since I've never actually used it so far in this make-through. And it's going to start out down, rising up to roast the team. And then it's going to kind of fall apart at the end, going up. Medium or small? Maybe small. And as for the sound effect, that one there. Very dangerous spell, this one. Alright, next up is a barrier. This is going to be another spell where I want the player to take advantage of the Dispel option. Because this one is going to provide resistance against special attacks. Which reminds me, before moving on, I'm going to want to make a couple of changes. First off, since we're resisting special attacks, that means that he's going to resist the Fire Breath and the Water Breath of Daristrix. But I also want him to be able to resist the power of the Fire Stick, Ice Stick, and Water Stick that way. So I need to change these to special attacks. Now here's an interesting thing about these being special attacks. Going to the bag list here where we have the sticks proper. So under normal circumstances, you cannot actually select special attacks to attach to items. If I go through this whole list, I'm not going to find the Fire Stick or the other stick spells. But since I already set them ahead of time while they were still magic, that means I actually already have them attached, despite them being special attacks. It's kind of an interesting workaround. With that in mind, let's go ahead and continue making this barrier spell, which will in fact resist those stick spells now. And of course this is just going to target him, and it's going to be Project Barrier. And for this spell, I decided on graphic number 8. 2 phases of it. Gonna be kind of small at first and then get big. Actually, let's go extra small at first. Yeah. And we'll have it fade in and fade out. And the sound effect I've decided on 29. I'm trying to make an effort not to have any spells repeat sounds, so I kind of running out of proper sound effects with regards to these magic type spells. But hey, still works. And his last spell is going to be called Eeny Meeny. And it's going to be an instant death spell. Because I kind of wanted to create a roulette type of spell for this. No special messages attached to it. And we're going to be using the skull graphics, so graphic 13. Only going to target one character. Instant death spells that target the entire team are just plain mean. I'm looking at you, well, I was about to name the specific boss, but I can't remember her name, so I'll just say, oh yeah, the specific boss. I'm looking at you, Yunalska, from Final Fantasy X. Whatever. Moving on, let's go ahead, and it's going to be kind of rouletting, therefore... Oh, hold on. It's going to be... doing this. And it's going to land on whoever is going to be deathed. Granted, instant death has a pretty low chance of actually hitting, so no chance. It's not a guarantee that this spell is going to kill somebody. Still, though, a very scary thing to have in the final battle, especially considering RPG Maker 1's Revive spell only heals you with 1 HP. That is so dumb. Why did they make it like that? And each phase of this is going to be 22. Let me reverse this, actually. There we go. That way the skull is kind of nomming on whoever it's targeting. Sort of. And those are all of the final boss's spells. Let's go ahead and give it to him now. Also, hello there, Maddie. Welcome to my stream. So, the final boss, of course, is going to be Fire Elemental. He's going to be immune to fire. He's going to be attacking twice per turn. This is kind of a big deal for me because final bosses that only hit once per turn, they're kind of a little on the easy side because they attack, you react. Simple as that. But when they're attacking twice, you never know what's going to happen, so that's kind of raises the stakes a little, I feel like, because it's more like you're fighting 2 final bosses instead of 1. I mean, you're still fighting 1 target, but you're just not getting whacked 1 time. Anyway, let's go ahead and give him his stuff now. So, let's see here. Start with Meltdown. And then Shockwave. I wanted to give him a full list of attacks. That way you never know what's going to happen in this fight. Final bosses with a variety of attacks are interesting. Strength is next. Drain is next. Except not Drain because I changed my mind on that. Radiation is next. Cremate is next. Barrier and Eeny Meeny. I'll go ahead and set their percentages now. So 25% of him using his normal attack. 21% chance of Meltdown. 13% Shockwave. 11% strength, 9% radiation, 8% cremate, 7% barrier, and 5% eeny meeny. I don't have to have them all different. I could have radiation and cremate be both 9%, but this is the percentages that I have decided on. It leaves me with 1% unused, but the game will ignore that, so it's not really important. Honestly, I could have all of these set to 1%, and it would treat them all evenly, without worrying about the remaining 98%. Incidentally, just because I have all these percentages set as this, does not mean that it's always going to be that way. Before the stream, I wanted to try to figure out all these percentages, because trying to figure them out on camera would take forever, and despite having Shockwave at half the percentage of his normal attack, one test wound up being so that he wound up using Shockwave twice as much as his normal attack for some reason. The randomization in RPG Maker 1 it's not very good. So, just because I have it set up like this, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, the odds are in favor of this being the setup, but it's not a guarantee. Kind of weird that. Anyway, with that taken care of, what else do I want to do here? I don't think I need to do any other abilities. Attack patterns, he's not going to drop any treasure. So, I think next I need to kind of figure out some other stuff to do. Oh, first things first. I'm going to go back to Not Ifrit and Cookin and change them up just a little bit. I'm going to give Not Ifrit another 100 HP, and same with Cookin, actually. And I'm going to rename Cookin to Cookin with a C. Yeah, spell it like that. Even though he doesn't use any fire spells, I just kind of like that name. The reason why I'm giving these guys some extra health is because, after all, these are the elite soldiers, and I said last time, hey, they're supposed to be sort of like mini-bosses you fight along the way, except they went down pretty quickly. So it's like, a bit more health wouldn't be a bad idea. By the way, Maddie, or anybody else who is watching, I still need a name for this guy. Anybody have a suggestion for a name for this guy? I'll go ahead and use it if it's good. Alright, so I've given them extra health. I also want to change the scene where we encounter this guy just a little bit. So let's see here. After the door opens, actually prior to the door opening, I want to have the screen shake. So it'll shake and then the door will be open. Because right after this is where it takes over to the door, which is going to be open when it's taken over to. I also kind of want to darken the screen whenever the battle with the final boss begins. Because I figure it's the big final boss, kind of a special occasion, so we're not going to fight him with the background still in place like every other battle in RPG Maker 1. It's going to be on a pure black screen. Big focus being on the final boss himself. And also, I'm not going to change anything else at the moment, but I want to clarify something from last time when I was talking about accidentally loading instead of saving. If we go to load, there actually is a warning when we tried loading instead of saving. The reason why there wasn't a warning last time is because I saved before trying the load option. And once you save, then it knows that, hey, you don't need to worry about loading because you already saved. You're not gonna overwrite something. Now, if you try saving over a file that already exists and is not the same file, then of course it's going to warn you. There's various warnings in place to make sure that you don't make a big mistake, including if you try exiting to RPG Maker's main menu. That said, you will want to make sure to actually pay attention to those warnings. Anyway, I believe I've got everything set up that I want to have set up for the time being. So, we're gonna go on to our first episode break. And when we come back, I'm gonna actually try out this final boss. Should be fun.